In chapter 1785, the story delves into the bittersweet atmosphere surrounding Duncan's imminent discharge from the hospital and the heartfelt farewells between Liberty, her former in laws, and her son Sony. Serenity calls Liberty and asks about Duncan's condition and the progress of his hospital stay. Her concern is evident as she asks. According to Liberty, Duncan is adamant about being released, even in the face of the physician's best efforts to persuade him otherwise. She sympathizes with Duncan's need to get out of the hospital bed, explaining that his mood swings are as erratic as June's weather. The doctor has given him permission to go home and recuperate now that he doesn't require constant infusions before starting his rehabilitation process. In addition, Liberty says that she has carefully packed Duncan's things in anticipation of their departure. Serenity, understanding the situation, decides to end the conversation and head back to her own affairs, urging Liberty not to worry and promising to discuss matters further once she returns. Their exchange ends with a warm reminder for Serenity to drive safely. With the call concluded, Liberty turns her attention to her former in laws, who have been embracing Sony during her conversation. She approaches them with gratitude for their care, but suggests that they return home to rest and have a meal. Mrs. Brown, however, clings to her vigil in the hospital, driven by the fear that leaving will coincide with negative news regarding Hank's condition. She is resolute in staying by her son's side, ready to act if any alarming developments occur. Liberty makes an effort to comfort Mrs. Brown by emphasizing the value of their well being and pointing out that Sony no longer need continual care. She also announces that Sony will start kindergarten on September 1st, meaning that all the necessary arrangements have been completed. Mrs. Brown considers for a little while the opportunities that Sony and Lucas have received, but she comes to the conclusion that Sony is still a vital member of their family in spite of their unique situations. This chapter emphasizes the complex relationships that exist between families, emphasizing the lasting relationship that Sony has with his grandparents, even as Liberty deals with the difficulties posed by her ex in law's presence. It mentions Sony and Lucas's different chances and lifestyles, reiterating larger themes of privilege and injustice.